Hello and welcome to Mike's Tech. Good golly, Miss Molly, it's been a little while since I've made a video here on YouTube. It's been a couple of years. I've just had a lot of things going on. Life's gotten in the way. But today I wanted to show you my dorm room music setup. If you've watched any of my prior videos, you know I'm a big vinyl geek and really like vintage equipment. So I thought I would just take you through what I have here at school with me, this year as a junior at college, and just kind of show you around, and you can see a little bit of the vinyl that I've got, and kind of part of the setup. So there's really two systems here. There's this Panasonic system, and then there's this old Lafayette system. And we'll start here. I actually just purchased this receiver a couple of months ago, and I've really been enjoying using it. There's a couple of things that I dig about it. For one, it's got auxiliary phono, FM, and AM, which is perfect for me. And here, a tape input, which I use for my reel-to-reel tape deck. And then, bass, treble, and volume. It's one of these funky split volume controls where you can adjust the left and right independently of each other. Tuner-wise, it's a pretty doggone sensitive radio. I've really enjoyed using the FM and the AM side. Can't really get much AM on this radio in here, in my dorm room here, but FM does work quite well. And as an added little bonus, the signal strength indicator actually does work, which is somewhat rare for radios of this era. A lot of my other sets, those do not work any longer. Of course, stereo mono, that's quite nice for listening to older mono albums. There's a high cut, like a high filter. This is pre-Dolby B noise reduction, so if you've got a lot of tape hiss or whatever, you can turn that on. I've never really felt the need to use that. I think some people also used it on FM radio. And of course, the good loudness control. This is one of the kind of unique things about this radio. A lot of radios of this era, either it was, you turn the volume all the way down to turn it off, or some of them had an on-off switch. This actually, the on-off switch is built into the speaker selector. So you've got off, your main set of speakers, your main and remote speakers, your remote speakers, and headphones. And also of note, you can hook both a magnetic cartridge or a ceramic cartridge turntable into this little Lafayette. So really, really fun little stereo system. I've really been enjoying it. Sounds quite nice. Paired with this Technics SL-Q200, I'm probably going to bring my SL-Q2 in to replace that in the near future, but not a bad turntable. It's run through this pair of realistic speakers, Minimus 77s. And man, I have been very pleasantly surprised at how decent these actually sound. If you're looking for a cheap pair of bookshelf speakers that sound quite nice, the Minimus 77s are a great option. Unfortunately, you cannot get them new, but you can find them used on eBay. Most of them will need refoamed. They'll need the drivers refoamed. I did that on these. I should have made a video about it, actually, now that I think about it. But it's not all that hard to do, and I'm sure that there are lots of tutorials out there. Also hooked into the Lafayette is this classic TEAC A4010SL. I think I've actually featured this in a couple of my prior videos. It's one of a whole bunch of reel-to-reel units that I own, and it's here at school with me. Very enjoyable to be able to put on some reel-to-reel tapes. Got a decent little collection of them down here. The one that's on there right now, someone recorded way back in the day, Soft and Light Mood Music, Volume 2. And I also have this little RCA Victor classic guy. I don't really use it very much. Gosh, you can see how much dust are on those 45s. And I only play beater 45s on there. I don't really play any 45s that I'm particularly fond of. But every once in a while, I break that out. It's got a ceramic cartridge that's been fitted in there as opposed to the original crystal cartridge. So yeah, the TEAC goes into the Lafayette on the bottom. Before we get to the Panasonic here up top, I also have this little Panasonic over here in the window, and that is primarily for whenever I want to listen to AM radio. I can do that. I've got this nice fancy antenna here, which isn't doing a whole lot of good on the other side of these books, but move the books over and put the antenna right up next to it, and I will probably actually be doing a video about this hopefully sometime in the near future. This antenna is fantastic for pulling in and picking up AM stations. All right, up top, the crown jewel of the setup, at least looks-wise, sound-wise, it's pretty decent, but, you know, it's definitely not audiophile by any stretch of the imagination. It's a classic little Panasonic. I forget what the model number of this baby is, but AM, FM radio, barely gets anything on the FM band. AM sounds very nice. And of course, that's what the two wooden speakers here are for. And it pairs perfectly with this little turntable on the top. Yes, it is a separate turntable. I actually have the matching 8-track player as well, but that stayed home. That did not end up coming to school with me. So that is my little dorm room setup. And I do most of my listening on the Technics turntable and the reel-to-reel, and then once in a while I'll crank up the Panasonic and put something on there as well. Vinyl-wise, I've got a couple of crates here and some other crates and shelves throughout the room, but it's a big variety. I mean, everything from Frank Sinatra to, oh, there's Andy Williams and the Beach Boys, Mamas and Papas, People Like Us, underrated album. Ray Charles, I mean, there's the Doors debut in mono, the Pink Panther soundtrack, I mean, all kind of different things. Man Could Get Killed, Burt Camford, and, you know, ooh, yeah, that's nice, Julie London, the Guess Who, Roberta Flack, Association, Gordon Lightfoot, all kinds of things, old Petula Clark, I mean, so yeah, I just kind of thought I would give you a real brief 7-minute tour. At this point, we're up to about 7 minutes of my system here at school. I hope to be making videos a little bit more regularly here now in the near future, but you know, we'll just see how time and everything allows for that. But yeah, there's my setup and kind of what's going on right now. One other thing that I'll mention real quick, if you dig 50s, 60s, and 70s music, you should check out my radio show. It's a Friday afternoon and Friday evening show. Do it live, all vinyl, well, pretty much all vinyl. I've got two Technics 1200s that and a whole slew of 45s. And I do it over AM radio and streaming online as well. So that's something else pretty groovy that you can check out and dig as well. So, all right, well, till next time, this has been Mike's Tech.